daddy far from usual. Now I'm missing cause I'm about my father's business. It ain't about this shit I used to do in that 98 Navy, the tan leather seats. See, without wisdom, this world make you weak. I found out that the truth was bitter, the lies are sweet. Tried everything, I guess me and Johanna had to meet. Now I make the blind see, and I make the dead speak, and teach both my little girls the day that they lie with a man, they better bring me bloody bed sheets. Chaos match the time, this Glock match my handpiece, and I ain't trying to take him out, but I will defend this house or take a check. 144 in that black trench on some hitman shit. She call me 47, praying for Armageddon. Me and my soldiers dressed for the wedding. Fuck the fame, ask why, tell them I'm loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign, loyal to the king. I walk that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king, you devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. That's right. Bring that hot flame, you bitch ain't loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign, loyal to the king. I walk that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king, you devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. Bring that hot flame, you bitch ain't loyal to the king.
Till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. One west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy, it get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start, make you live again. Get them dividends or we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit. I told you shit phenomenal. Nah, but he abdominal. So what you suckers trying to do? Rhyming comical, guess it's funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to them pussy niggas that's popping shit. Team of all-stars, I coach them up like I'm Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina, so we gon' check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I vomit this and regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoke you up like a parliament. The flow been stupid, shit has gotten retarded since. All the dominance of one west rising to prominent. Cause I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, mute my maneuvers, but I ride like I got Groupon for Uber. Rhymes hard like they been viewed by Medusa. 9 milli Luger, 17 in the Ruger. Only need a few to sit up in your medulla. Obligata for the regatta, niggas wildin', they win every dollar. They riding by in black Impalas, let the semi holler. The showstopper been the proper since the teeny bopper. But now I'm growing them off Patron, a premium of vodka. I put extensions on the Glock, modified the chopper. The swore heavy, war ready, and that's working mama. No marijuana, say I got the loudest silence on it. When I'm up on it, ain't no rapper do it like I do it. A lot of spitties and writers, but when they eat on, none of them can get to the fire. Around with me, and I had a nigga spin like a tire. Down the deep, and I'm still dope as a piper. Every bar burn hard like a spoon with a lighter. Fuel to igniter, I'm winning, coming through with the title because UPK. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
I told you not to do no sin no more. I guess they acting like they hear me. 90 days I let a fiend for. If this what you want, you best go be slow. And she said, baby, I know you legit. Baby, I know you legit. popping up. Quit the fuss, show me love, I need love. Don't wanna leave me, yeah. I'm mixing up my damn problems. I'm mixing out all of that violence. If you with me, we on that fly shit. To all these worldly bastards round us, I say, I told you not to do no sin no more. I guess they acting like they hear me. 90 days I let a fiend for. If this what you want, you best go be slow. And she said, baby, I know you legit. Baby, I know you legit. She said, me like you don't even exist. And I said, UPK made me like this.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Hey, Shalom Israel. This is the Wednesday history class. Or check out Commanding General Yohanna's radio show, which is Monday 2 a.m. UK time. We also have classes here Monday through Friday in the school. We have classes on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9. Feel free to come on down to those 394 Lodge Road, B18 5PW. Also have online classes Tuesday and Friday. Tuesday, Brotherhood Online. Friday from Manchester, we also have the radio show on the ends. And also in class today, any questions, you can type them in. Today, we're going to go into the 5 pillars of Islam contradicts the Bible. So we're going to show you how Islam and the Bible don't agree in one. We're going to show you how Islam and the Bible is not the same, because the 5 pillars of Islam contradicts the Bible. And the 5 pillars of Islam, a pillar is something which is basically the foundation of something. A pillar is something which holds something up. So these pillars hold Islam up. So if these are the pillars which hold Islam up and it contradicts the Bible, it shows that the Bible and Islam have nothing in common.
That's right.
Because what pillars hold up Islam, the Bible doesn't tell you to do none of those things. So we're going to go into the 5 pillars of Islam, and then we're just going to get a scripture which cuts what they believe, which shows that the two don't agree in one, which shows that the God of the Bible is not the God of the Quran, which shows that the brothers in the Bible never ever taught what was in the Quran, that Abraham didn't build the Kaaba with Isaac, or who did he say built it with Ishmael? They say Abraham
Abraham, was it? Abraham?
I think they say Abraham and Ishmael built the Kaaba, which is a lie. Ishmael was kicked out. They lie to say that Abraham jumped on a donkey that flies, and he went to see Ishmael. All of that stuff is not true. The donkey's name is called Baruch, which means lightning. So they have the donkey in Islam called lightning. Hey, Shalom, Shabbat Kafar.
Shalom, yeah,
So like you say something. I can hear you a little bit. Most of Christ. So any questions, just type them in the chat and we'll get to them. All right, so now I'm going to go with my first slide. So Lucky Hakian, if you could get me that slide.
So the first pillar, faith, was based on the Shahada.
So now
Shahada.
the first pillar of faith was based on the Shahada. So now the Shahada in Islam is where you do that La ilaha nonsense. Hello? So that's the first pillar of faith. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, the declaration of belief through which a man joined Islam. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet.
So now, that right there is the Shahada. So that right there is the Shahada, where you say there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. So that right there is the Shahada. That's the first pillar in Islam. So that's the first thing that you say. So Hakayan, based on what we went over a few weeks ago, where did that Shahada come from?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me, Hakian?
I
think there's a lag. That's a lucky Hakian. Can you hear me?
I can't remember,
I think there's a lag. Hakian, can you hear me?
Can't remember.
Say that again.
Can't remember,
All right then. So now this Shahada.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can hear. So now this Shahada came from when Muhammad was threatening a man from the tribe of Quraysh, and they pulled upon him, and they said, "Yo, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna say there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger unless you lose your head." And then that man repeated that. This man was going against Muhammad. So Muhammad said to him, "Yo, you're gonna say there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger?" Because before this, he was saying that Muhammad ain't no messenger of Allah. Muhammad ain't. He was saying Muhammad ain't what he's claiming he is. So then Muhammad rolled upon him and made him say that.
Right.
And then once he said that stuck. So once he said that stuck, and then that became the Shahada. So that's where they got that from. So that's the first pillar. So the first pillar comes from Muhammad threatening a man. We also got that in one of the slides. I put it there because I know brothers would have forgot. Islam is kufar. So I put that in there just in case brothers forget. So afterwards we'll go to that slide. But Salaki, go ahead, Hakayan.
Quran Khan. Not only was it one of the purest religious slogans in history, but one of the most memorable. For in Arabic, it had a musical alterative force. La ilallah Allah Muhammadah Rasulullah.
So now that's what Muslims say. So now they would say that, and then they would be that would make them a Muslim. So now they call it a revert because they say that you're born a Muslim. So they don't like to say convert. They say you're revert. So they say you was born a Muslim and then you went astray. Now you're a Muslim again. So that's why they use the term a revert. So they would have to say this, and they said that this is one of the easy slogans. The reason it's an easy slogan is because people was fearing for their life when they would say it. So people would fear for their life, and then they would convert. And then Muhammad had seen that man convert, and he liked it, and that's why he kept that slogan. So that's where that first pillar comes from. That's where the Shahada comes from. So always remember that the Shahada comes from them threatening a man to convert. So always remember that when Muslims tell you that it's a religion of peace, you can just pull up the first man that they made convert. So okay, go ahead.
Quran Khan. A man had only to recite the Shahada, prefaced by the words, "I testify in front of any Muslim," and it made him a Muslim, just as it does today. He thus professed his belief in the oneness of God and Muhammad and his messenger. By implication, he also accepted 3 other articles of faith: belief in the Quran as the word of God.
So now they had to believe that the Quran was the word of God. So now Muhammad hated the Jews so much that in part of his faith, you had to confess like that, and you had to confess that you believe the Quran is the word of God. Why? Because what Muhammad did, the Jews refused to listen to him, so he spreaded a rumor that they've distorted their scriptures. So in spreading the rumor that they've distorted their scriptures, he said, look, they've distorted their scriptures, and that's where you get the whole Bible's been changed from the Jews not agreeing with Muhammad. So Muhammad's attack on them was the Jews have distorted their scriptures, and that's why when you look in the Quran, it says the Jews have distorted their scriptures, and when you look in history, it says the Jews refused to worship Muhammad as a prophet and said the Quran contradicts our scriptures. So now Muhammad knew that the Quran contradicted their scriptures. So in his rebuttal, he had to make out that their scriptures had been changed. Because if he didn't teach that their scriptures had been changed, that would mean that his Quran contradicts everything. So he had to make out that there was a version of the Bible that had been changed, and this ain't the original Bible. That's what they would do. So they would say that this ain't the original Bible, and the Bible's been changed, and it's not the original one. Whereas Muhammad's been saying this from 600 AD. So surely if you go back then, guess what you'll find? The records that they was using is the same records from then till now.
That's right.
Them records ain't been changed. You can go and look, man. He will tell you the records have been changed with no proof. Muhammad can't even tell you the records have been changed. Listen, the Council of Nicaea and all these things happened before Muhammad was born, man. The Council of Nicaea happened in 325 AD. Muhammad weren't even born then. How would he know what goes on in certain councils, man? He wouldn't know none of these things. So him saying that the Bible's been changed, he wouldn't know. He weren't around when them records was gathered and all of those kind of things. So Lucky, go ahead.
Oh, he came out.
Oh, I got to put him back in. That's Lucky Haki and Wallet is he came out.
Belief in angels as the instrument of God's will and belief in a final judgment day for all men.
And now their final judgment day is like the Christian concept of hell. So they believe there's a fiery place under the ground and you burn, and they believe you go in the grave, and a righteous man has a spacious grave, so he walks around in his grave, and an unrighteous man's grave so narrow that one of his ribs is on top of the other rib, and all of those kind of things. So that's what they believe. They believe that once the they be like, may Allah give him a spacious grave. So that's why they say all of these things, because Muhammad learned a lot of Christianity. He learned a lot of Christianity and a lot of stuff from Greeks. So a lot of the stuff that they believe comes from Greeks. People make it like Arabs have the greatest science, and if only you knew that once the Arabs conquered the world, a lot of the medicines and stuff they learned, guess who they learned it from? The Greeks. So they stole the Greek ideas and they put it in Islam, and then now you believe Muhammad's got prophecies and the Arabs know about medicine, when they got all the Greek pharmaceutical people and all of those kind of things and sat at their feet and learned and adopted that into Islam. So that's how Arabs know about certain oils and certain medications, because they stole these things from the Greeks. That's also documented. Salaki, go ahead.
Karawan Khan. After the profession of faith, there could be no turning back. The punishment for apostasy was death.
So now if you turn back, they would have you killed for it, meaning that's against their religion. If you turn back, you would go to hell. If you became a Muslim and then denounced Islam, then they would have you killed for it. So Hakayan, Benjamin, get me this one, Babu Shah.
God, sir. In 630, Muhammad marched against Mecca with an army of 10,000.
So how do I take this little logo off?
What gun banners? I don't think you can see anyway. You want to see brand to the top. It's that brand there, brand one. See a brand one at the top. Yeah, to the top. What's that? How much?
Salaki, go ahead, Benjamin. Just keep reading. I'm just trying to take something off the screen.
Canada one Khan. It was time to bring the city to heel. Although figures from the ancient chronicles are notoriously suspect, it is clear that the army he led was huge for its time. This would have been uppermost in the mind of Abu Sufyan ibn Harb, leader of the Quraysh, who rode out to meet Muhammad.
So now the man that Muhammad forced to convert to Islam, that was his name. His name was Abu Sufyan. Go ahead.
Leader of the Quraysh, who rode out to meet.
So now this man also was from the same tribe as Muhammad. So now Muhammad rode out to meet him. Now, if you say someone rode out today, that's a gangster term, man. Meaning they pulled out on you and so forth. So Muhammad weren't all about peace because he rode out. Go ahead.
To meet Muhammad outside Mecca to discuss terms. He was strongly encouraged to submit. and
mean just
testify that there, Salakia,
Salaki, go
sir.
ahead.
And submit and testify that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the prophet of God before you lose your head.
And that's where the Shahada came from. He threatened the Quraysh leader, Abu Sufyan, that, yo, this is what you're going to do. They forced him to submit and confess that Muhammad is the prophet of Allah, and Islam's the truth and so forth. And that's where the Shahada came from. So what they say in the Shahada came from them threatening Abu Sufyan, who didn't agree with what Muhammad was doing. So that's where the whole Shahada came from. Go ahead.
Abu Sufyan, hitherto a bitter adversary, bowed his head and converted on the spot.
And bowed his head and converted on the spot. And he only converted on the spot. Why did he convert on the spot?
He didn't want to die.
But
There you go. He didn't want to die. He didn't want to lose his head. They said to him, yo, Muhammad is his messenger. If you don't confess this, you're going to lose your head. So he confessed this, because obviously he didn't want to die. So he converted on the spot, and then they liked this Shahada, and then this became the first pillar of Islam. Because nobody else converted like this before this. This then became the first pillar of Islam, the Shahada. So like, you go ahead.
prefiguring the conversion of his city and his tribe.
And now they got what? They got the top man in that city. Because why? What would happen if the top man converts? I mean, you don't want to convert the man at the bottom. No one follows him. You want to convert a man who everybody follows. So they converted the man who everybody follows, and then they could get everybody else to convert. So that's what they did. So like, go ahead.
The simplicity of that landmark conversion to Islam, the declaration that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his prophet, has been maintained to this day, making Islam one of
maintained till this day. That's been maintained till this day. So whenever anyone asks you to convert to Islam, so now Banyamin, when someone tells you take your shahada, what would you say to them? If someone says take your shahada,
La sir, no way.
Now Hakian, if someone tells you take your shahada, what would you say to them?
But I would say the only God that there is Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, his son. That's what I would say.
That's right.
That's it. You could say that too. And also, based off the history of how the Shahada came about, what would you say? Like, how would you add that part to them?
I'd say, well, you're only doing that. The basis of that Shahada is because you're threatening people to take it, basically.
Yeah.
And if they didn't take it, you would murder them. You would take the head off. So you're trying to that Shahada thing is a threatening thing that you're using as an instrument of wickedness to get your own way.
Yep. You want to say to them, yep, you can say it just like that. Or you can say, look, man, you can say now, the beginning of that whole Shahada, it was a threat. You threatened the Quraysh leader, Abu Sufyan, to take that Shahada, or you told him he's going to lose his head. And you want to say, yo, he didn't commit because it was a religion of peace. He followed that religion. Why? Because he was forced. So you want to ask them, what happens if I don't take my Shahada? Are you going to threaten? This is what you say to them. So if I don't take my Shahada, are you going to threaten to cut my head off like Abu Sufyan? And
Abu
say
Sufyan.
to them, and you say to them, well, you're going to have to cut my head off because I ain't going to convert. Say to them, look, man, you're going to have to cut my head off because I ain't going to convert. I'm not Abu Sufyan. And then you let them know where the Shahada came from. Because they will there. Listen, they will force you to take it, man. In jail, you know how much men get punched up and take their Shahada?
Yeah.
Men get punched up and take their Shahada, man. Men getting punched up and saying La ilaha in the sound, man. And guess what? They in their mind, the scared soul, Abu Sufyan was the same way. He didn't really convert, he was just scared. And now Muhammad like that, and that's why they kept that Shahada. Because he was like, yo, this is converted. But most Muslims don't know this, so guess what they're going to say to you? Hakian and Banyami, I'm gonna say to you, you're lying. I'm gonna say to you, you're lying. That's not true. And then you just blow them out the water with the information, man.
What's the guy's name again? Abu what?
Abu Sufyan.
Abu Sufyan submission wasn't a natural submission. He was scared he was gonna die.
There you go. He didn't submit because it was a religion of peace. It's because his head was threatened to be cut off.
Abu Sufyan, you know.
Mhm.
I'm just writing it down.
They threatened to cut his head off. If anyone threatens to cut your head off, you're gonna do what they say, man. Everyone outside of us is gonna do what you say. And do you know how you know this is not a religion of peace? Because when we went to speak corner and we refused to convert, they started putting on their face masks, man.
They started to put on their what? Face masks?
Yeah, putting on face masks, man. Start putting on face masks and balaclavas, man.
Do it, man. Do it. We're ready.
Or because we didn't want to convert, man. We ain't no Abu Sufyan.
One
And
thing they
they're
don't know. Salakia.
One thing they don't know is we would have messed them up out there, man.
That's right.
They don't know, man. Listen, man. You think what the EDL's doing to them right now is anything? Listen, man. They're hiding in the mosque from the EDL. You see the EDL pouting the mosque with bricks. No, like, what was this?
Really? Have they been doing that? Have they been doing that?
Yeah, you niggas don't watch the news.
Nah, fam, I don't even watch Salakia.
You ain't seen the in South End where that guy from Rwanda stabbed the kids. So he killed the kids. He went to a kids party. He killed about 3 kids. Some madman.
Yeah.
And the news went out that it was a Muslim. So the English Defence League tied up the mosque, man. The Muslims are saying, yo, we're scared for our life. And then the EDL started clashing with the police. They burnt the police vans. They parted the police with bricks. They broke a police officer's nose.
See, everybody, Salakia said, everybody fight for their people. Everybody but us.
The EDL was, listen, the English Defence League was going in, man. I seen them Edomites throwing them bricks, running the police, man, set the police vans on fire.
Wow.
This was just yesterday. It's been coming on the news every day. Some little girls were stabbed in South End by someone that. It's unfortunate, man. No one should be stabbing kids, man. Why the hell is a 17-year-old stabbed 3 kids? There was like a little Taylor Swift party.
Damn.
And it went in and it stabbed them. And this is why in the UPK, at our kids' events, man, especially anything to do with the school, we have security there, man. We have security there.
That's right.
That way, we would have disarmed him, man. We would have disarmed him. I don't know if the knife would have got used on him, but we would have disarmed him. So lucky. All I know is we would have disarmed him. I don't know what happens after that.
We don't know what happened. Trust me.
We don't know what happens after that. We just know we disarm you. We just know we disarm you, and whatever state you go back to the Lord in is the state you go back to the Lord in.
That's right.
From the arms out the socket, legs out the socket, head twisted around, facing the wrong way.
That's right.
Whatever state you go back to the Lord in, Salaka, you shouldn't have tried to trouble one of ours.
So lucky, sir. You said that anyone could ask any questions.
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
Can I ask a question off topic?
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
Khan. So thought if somebody broke into my yard, right?
Yeah.
The police says we're supposed to step out the way and let them come in and do whatever they take what they want, and we're supposed to run for cover. So like so if I dop him and finish him, would that be a UPK stance, or what? I mean, what's our stance on that?
So what it is, you don't want to kill a man if you don't have to. So this is what you do want to do. You don't want to move out the way because you got family and kids in there. So you want to protect your kids and family. Now, if you can just detain him and phone the police. But now, if this man's got a weapon and is coming to attack you, then you have to do what you have to do, man. You have to fight for your life. You're not going to stay there and let them kill you. So now, this is your house. This is your property. Now there's a thing called reasonable force. So you would use reasonable force. So reasonable force wouldn't be you stamping his head in while he's unconscious and still stamping his head in some more. That's not reasonable force. Reasonable force is you defending yourself and pinning him down and holding him until the authorities come. Now, if the man's strong and you're both going back and forth, You might have to hit him with the vase, so luck ya. You might have to hit him with the vase or an ornament, but you have to defend your life. You're not gonna lie down there and make someone kill you. And that would be reasonable force. He's on your property trying to steal goods and attack you. But now if the person breaks into your house and they see you and they're fearing for their life and they drop all the goods and they're trying to leave, now if you go out and chase them into the street and kill them, then you'd be wrong. So there's a thin line. So there's a very thin line. So what I would say is, to avoid that happening, this is what you do. Make sure you check your doors is locked every single night. Make sure your car doors is locked. Make sure your windows is locked. Because sometimes, I'm telling you, if someone breaks in your house, it's easier to say, yo, let him run out. But with niggas, man, we're going to chase him, so lock ya. We ain't
That's
just
what
going
I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
We ain't stepping aside like that.
I know what you're saying, so lock ya.
And I got a bully here as well. She might kill him.
There you go. So this is what happens. If the bully bites him, he's just gonna have to wait there until you want to take the bully off him.
Apparently, you get a fine.
That's it.
Apparently, that's true. You get a fine for making that bites somebody.
Yeah, you do. But listen, guess what?
Even the rubber, apparently you can't stick it on him. You have to bite him up. Because I can't remember what the other day.
With that, there's no proof that you set the bully on him.
Yeah, he came in and the bully felt threatened. You know what I mean?
You say I was in the kitchen eating a sandwich and having a drink, and I came out and I seen something inside the bully's mouth.
From that hand hanging out.
I saw something in the bully's mouth and I said, "What's that there?" And that's it. And then they'll learn. And then guess what they'll realize? Don't break into that house again, man.
All right.
We ain't no Christian man that's gonna go down on his knees and pray, Lord, just please let the robber take what he wants because it's all materialistic stuff. We ain't doing that shit in here.
Yeah, that's right.
Like Christian man would do, Lord, it's all materialistic stuff.
Something's getting broken.
A Christian man will go on his knees while his wife and kids is there. Dear Lord, just let him take the car keys because it's all materialistic stuff. Nah, man, we ain't doing that in here, man. I'm telling you, if you find that you do that, guess what will happen? This same man will come and rob you again next week, man.
That's right.
He'll rob you again next week, knowing you're just going to go on your knees and pray. In here, you're going to be praying, hoping you can get out, man.
That's right.
That's what you're going to be doing, man. You're going to be praying, hoping you can get out. Listen, I know my way around my house in the dark, man. I tell you, I pull the fuses out, man. So listen, I cut the electric. We're both in the dark. We're going to see who the Lord's with that day, man. Is the Lord with you or is the Lord with me? Listen, we're going to be rumbling and tumbling, and I'm telling you, we're going to be going towards, hey, you criminals, be mindful whose house you're breaking in, man. Just be mindful. These houses protected by the Lord, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
I just wanted to know because I was just feeling a certain way, and I thought, after I heard something happen where a guy nearly got in trouble. He weren't allowed to attack the guy who broke in. So I was thinking, I would do something else, but obviously I am decreased and Christ is increased, so I can't do what I would do, but I do what the Most High orders me to do through the men above me. So thanks for answering the question.
Definitely can defend your life, but there was that time, remember when them devils broke into the other devil's house and he stabbed him and he died?
Yeah.
Do you remember? And he died and they locked the devil up, but they let him go and they're not guilty. No, it didn't even make him to court. Everybody was like, yo, bro, they shouldn't have broke into his house. So don't let these people that tell you you're wrong for doing this and that, because they all agree secretly. Guess what the family members of the man that died said? He didn't have the right to stab him. Listen, man, this man's got his wife in the house, man. What do you think he's going to do? Allow you to attack his wife? No, man. So yeah, the criminals have to beware because not everybody's going to let you go so easily. Sometimes, criminal, one day your luck runs out. I'm telling you, you might rob a few TVs, and then the next TV that you think you're going to get away with, you might not get away with it.
That'd be your last one.
Exactly. So,
I might take the check in afterwards.
And usually robbers, this is what they do. They know which house to break into. They don't just choose random houses. Just the cracked ones choose random houses. But most people whose houses get robbed, usually your house gets robbed by somebody that knows you. They tell somebody else to do it. They'll be like, hey, you see such and such, it's gone on holiday here, and it's got this jewelry in the house. Why do you think footballers' houses get robbed? More, it's an inside job. Because they know, yep, it's in Spain. You got all this time to get in. You can get in through this way and that way. So yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, can't do it for that. So.
They protect. Have some good locks. Have some cameras. Have alarms. All of those kind of things. Have neighborhood watch. Them Edomites is like neighborhood watchmen. You need some of those Edomites, them neighborhood watch neighbors. Listen, I got neighbors that just all they do is sit by the window, man. That's all they do. All they do is sit by the window. They know every car that comes in. You see, if they don't recognize a car, they pull it in the neighborhood group chat.
God.
Oh, there's been a green car coming around here lately. Is it any relatives of someone's? Is it any
like that?
Go to your house. So yeah, they're putting all these things in the group chat. So yeah, them Edomites is like neighborhood watch. Living amongst them Edomites is that's the only thing they're good for. Let me get back to this slide. Salaki, go ahead, Banyamin.
Canada and Cancer has been maintained to this day, making Islam one of the easiest faiths by far to join. After Abu Sufyan's submission, resistance in the city proved minimal.
See,
casualties.
So after man submitted, all of his soldiers that was on the Abu Sufyan of the Quraysh tribe, they start causing problems now because their leader submitted. So everything they did, they submitted. Go ahead.
Casualties were reportedly limited to 28 on the Qurayshi side.
So now the casualties was lower, but I'm going to drop that slide because I believe we went over that one a few weeks ago. So Lucky Benjamin, get me this one.
Canada and Cancer. One of the most powerful attractions of the Hada was its remarkable simplicity. No special person was required to administer the rite of entry into the faith. There were no mysterious sacraments such as baptism or first communion or Salakia, and no elaborate indoctrination schools. There was not even an organized priesthood, although Islam did develop a formidable army of religious scholars known as the ulama, meaning the learned. They fulfilled an important role formulating and interpreting Islamic law. They also acted as judges and were the intellectual and spiritual leaders of the community.
So now they're establishing Islam. They're establishing people that deal with the religion, like the religious leaders. So you see, like how we have the Pharisees. Now Islam's trying to get their version of Pharisees. Now they're trying to get their version of religious leaders. So in the beginning, they didn't have a priesthood. So now he's copying everything that we had. Now he's trying to set up an Islamic priesthood. So lucky get me this one.
Islamic religious lore, which draws up Judeo-Christian tradition, abounds with stories also found in the Bible.
So now the reason, now someone give me the breakdown on why there's biblical stories found in the Quran. Give me the breakdown.
I don't know, Cancer. Muhammad would have interacted with Jewish people on his when he was doing his camel driving, his cab driving, his murder.
There you go. There you go. So when a Muslim says the Bible and the Quran is the same, what would you say? Banyamin, pretend that I'm a Muslim right now. Alhamdulillah, the Bible and the Quran is the same. Alhamdulillah. What would you say to me?
It's not the same, but there's similar stories because Muhammad got his inspiration. I got most of the stories from Jew people, from Jews who he encountered on his journeys as a camel driver. That's how he learned all the stories about the Israelites and stories of the Bible and put them in his Quran.
There you go. Yeah, that's how you break it down. Because people say, well, the Bible and the Quran is the same, and you say, no, it's not. Muhammad was around the Jews and the Christians, and he copied their records and made the Quran by stealing their records. So that's what you say.
That's right, sir.
So a Muslim will come to you, say the Bible and the Quran is the same, it's the same God. And you will say, no, it's not. You will say he stole records from the Bible because Muhammad was around Christians and Jews. And then you can also go deep and say, yo, you know those Jews that was living in Arabia who Muhammad learned from? You can also say, once Muhammad's wife Khadijah put him on, he also interacted with Jews on his travels. And then he came back to these same Jews that taught him and tried to tell them to follow him. And they turned around and said, we're not going to follow you. And then he said they distorted their scriptures. Meanwhile, the same scriptures he claims they distorted is the same ones he stole from them and put in the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And
So imagine, go ahead.
So like you're saying, they also say, if you want to be clean, it says it in the Quran, if you want to be clean, then you have to read the first 5 books of the Bible, which then will tell you, well, why the hell would I need to read the Bible if you're trying to teach me the Quran?
Exactly. Why must I read the Bible if the scriptures have been distorted?
That's right.
I mean, my thing is, if you say the Bible's been distorted, why should I believe your version of Moses and anybody else?
That's right.
If it's been distorted, I don't want to hear about. Listen, if you're a Muslim, I don't want to hear you talk about Moses. Then I don't want to hear you talk about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, because it's been distorted. I don't want to hear you talk about it. Slaki, go ahead, Benjamin.
Canada and cancer. With minor modifications, the Quran recounts Jonah's
With minor modifications, go ahead.
The Quran recounts Jonah's engulfment by a whale, Noah's salvation in the ark, and a day of judgment surpassing even the Christian one in its vision of terror and bliss to come.
Go ahead. Hey, froze. Salaki Hakim, can you hear me? Or we froze?
Carry on, cancer.
Oh, is it Benjamin that's froze?
Yeah.
Yeah, Benjamin was froze.
Yeah. With minor modification, the Quran recounts Jonah's engulfment by a whale, Noah's salvation in the ark, and the day of judgment surpassing even the Christian one in its versions of terror and bliss to come. Islam honored Christ as second only to the Prophet himself.
So imagine that.
And portrayed the events.
Imagine what they did. They put Muhammad above Christ. So now they tried to make Muhammad better than Christ. They said Islam honored Christ as second only to the Prophet himself. Muhammad made himself better than Christ, man. Muhammad, and why do you think Muslims say that Christ didn't die for Israel? Why do you think they say that? I'm gonna tell you why they say that. Why? Because they don't want Christ to be better than Muhammad. So they water down Christ's whole image and say Christ didn't die.
Right.
He was a lookalike because they need Muhammad to be better than Christ. So they say that Christ is second to only Muhammad. So what did Muhammad want to do? Muhammad heard about how people reference Jesus Christ, and Muhammad made himself better than Jesus Christ by putting Jesus Christ second to him. And that's why in the Quran, it's Christ saying that, Christ is going to come and say, I'm not the son of God, and I'm not this, and I'm not in charge, and the reason they put that in the Quran, why? Because they need to put Muhammad above Jesus Christ.
Right. That's
what they did. Muhammad puffed himself up and put himself above Jesus Christ. So that's why they say the Bible's been changed. Why? Because Christ is the most righteous amongst us, man.
That's right.
They diminished them to second to an Arab man.
He was the only, so like if I may, sir,
right?
He was the only man who never sinned, who was actually perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other than Job. Job was perfect too. But so I mean, obviously Muhammad definitely wasn't. You know, he was killing this, that, and the third, you know what I mean? So raping and all types of things, 8-year-olds and all them things there. So how can he ever be better than Yahweh Shai, better known as Jesus Christ? So like,
exactly. He put himself above Christ, man. So lucky, go ahead. Who's reading this one? So lucky, go ahead. finish this one up.
Benjamin, you there still?
You can't, sir.
Okay, I'll finish it though. And portrayed the events of the New Testament in scenes like the 16th century Muslim paintings shown above. Have you got the paintings there, other one?
But it was just regular paintings of Christ and Mary.
Okay.
So now here, yeah, this is some Islamic drawings, but give it the writing underneath.
During the night journey, Muhammad led patriots, Old Testament prophets, and angels in prayer in a celestial mosque. While in paradise, Muhammad met Moses, whom he later described as a ruddy-faced man. Jesus he depicted as a freckled and of medium height. Of Abraham, he said, "Never have I seen a man more like myself."
So this is what Muhammad was telling his followers. So Muhammad told his followers that he met Moses, he met Christ, and he met Abraham. And he goes, "Never have I ever seen a man more like myself." Now, how do you know he didn't meet Abraham?
Abraham was way before. Was he before? No, hold on.
Yeah, Abraham was like at the beginning. Abraham was done before we went into slavery in Egypt.
Yeah, and he was afterwards, so he couldn't have, could he?
Yeah, but he's saying he met him in paradise.
If you met him in paradise, what? So paradise is where? Death.
Heaven in the sky. So he's saying he met him in the sky. How do we know that that's not true?
Because heaven ain't in the sky.
There you go. That's the answer. So
Heaven
when
ain't
you
in the
met
sky.
Abraham, you just say you couldn't have met Abraham, man.
Heaven ain't in the sky, fam.
Yeah. So he goes, he met him in the sky. He goes, I met Abraham. He goes, Jesus Christ had freckles. He said,
Where the hell?
Christ had freckles. And he said, Abraham never ever seen a man more like myself. So he believes in this whole concept of heaven is in the sky. Why? Because at the time when Muhammad learned, he learned from Christians. Because that was this was after the Council of Nicaea, when Christianity was kind of running things. So a lot of the stuff that he learned was incorrect anyway. Get me this one.
Another one, cancer. Purified, Muhammad mounted a. Salakia, what's that word, sir?
Fabulous.
A fabulous creature named Burak that had a woman face, a mule's body, a peacock's tail, and the ability to cover in a single bound a distance as far as the eye could see. Riding Burak, who tradition holds, had borne up other prophets before him.
So now to say that this animal that was riding on, carried up other prophets. Go ahead.
Canada one can. Muhammad passed through 7 heavens and enjoyed
Now, Muhammad passed through 7 heavens. Now, how much heavens is there according to the Bible?
So, okay, is it 4?
3.
Answer.
So according to the Bible, there's 3 heavens. So this is a contradiction. Muhammad passed through 7 heavens. We know that's not true because the Bible speaks about 3 heavens. Go ahead.
And Salakia, so if I may, could you just tell me the 3 heavens, please?
3 heavens. One is the sky, the firmament, and where the Most High dwells.
Sorry, sky, firmament, and where the Most High dwells. Sky, firmament. Okay, for one, I appreciate it.
So that's the 3 heavens. Go ahead.
Muhammad passed through 7 heavens and enjoyed the rarest privilege of all, seeing God's unveiled face.
So how do we know that that's not true?
The Bible, Salakia. Go on, Benjamin. You know this one, Benjamin?
Counsel, I would say no one has seen God's what God's look like. The Most High, if anyone looks on God's face, they'll be blinded. They can't see.
Is that someone get me the precept where it says no one's seen God's face and lived? I can't remember where it is. Hold on, let me see if I can help you out. It's in Exodus somewhere, I believe. I think it's the part where the Lord passed and showed his backward part. Give me Exodus 33 and 20.
Come on, come.
So now we're going to show you that what Muhammad said is a contradiction, which goes against the Bible.
Exodus 33, verse 20.
So this is Exodus 33 and 20. Go ahead.
And he said, thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live.
Now read what Muhammad said, Benjamin.
Another one can't, sir. Muhammad passed through 7 heavens and enjoyed the rarest privilege of all, seeing God's face, God's unveiled face.
Now read what you're holding from the Bible, Hakayan.
Thou canst not see my face. There shall no man see me and live.
There shall no man see me and live. So Muhammad lied again. Muhammad did not see God's face because the Bible says no man can see God and live.
That's right.
So this is questions that these is what the Jews were saying to Muhammad. It contradicts our scriptures, and Muhammad got all in his view. Let's keep going. Salaki, go ahead.
I said Muhammad must have read the Bible thoroughly, and use it to his advantage.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if anyone around him had known about the Bible, they would have probably read this in Exodus, and then by professing that he's seen God's face, he can convince them. So like this, sir.
Yeah. And a lot of Muslims believe that he's seen God's face because they don't know the Bible. But the Jews back then, they was like, yo, that contradicts our scriptures, man. What you're saying goes against what our scriptures say. So Muhammad tried to lie to them and game them up, man. And he got mad when they did, when he couldn't convince them. So that's why he said, yo, you've changed your scriptures. So lucky, get me this one.
Scholars have argued endlessly over such matters as presidentation, whether a man's choices in this life determined his fate after death or whether it was preordained by God.
So now let me ask you a question. Is the predestination or is what happens to you preordained by God? How does it work? Like, you see how Muslims say your life was written. How does it work? Is your life written or what? How does it work? Predestination is if you're supposed to die tomorrow, it was written for you for this to happen before you was born. So you're just playing out how your life's supposed to be. Is that how life works? Yes or no?
La, sir.
How you know that?
No, sir, because it's because God says that the Bible says do the commandments and live and walk away from it, you shall die.
There you go.
That's right.
So the Lord said, what? I'll give you life and death, choose life. So now, in Islam, they believe, well, whatever happened was written. It don't work like that, man. You're the author of your own book. You
That's
decide
right.
how your story ends, man. You decide how your story ends. The choices that you make is your own choice. The Lord said, choose life. All of this predestined and whatnot, that's just a sinner's way of not taking responsibility.
That's
That's
right.
a sinner's way of not taking accountability for their life. Saying, oh, because you know what? My life's written. It's supposed to be like that. Nah, man. It don't work like that, man. You're the author of your own book. You wake up and you make the decisions in your life, man. So lucky you get me this one.
Sir. Next to God, as an article of faith, was belief in the prophets and their teachings. In Islamic doctrine, there were 5 major prophets before Muhammad: Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus.
So now all these prophets was prophets that belong to us. So now that's how you know he studied our book. He goes, there's 5 major prophets before Muhammad. And guess what Muhammad did? Made himself better than every last one of them. He made himself greater than every last one of them. He made himself greater than all of them put together. And that's why they always say, Muhammad, peace be upon him. No one else gets that. No one else gets that when they say it. Now they diminish Christ, diminish everybody else, and put Muhammad on top. Go ahead.
Each of these apostles had brought the word of God in his own lifetime, but men kept straying from it, and a new prophet had to be sent so that men could again find the path to salvation. And Muhammad, however, had a special role. He was the last of the prophets, and the word God sent through him would guide men henceforth until the day of judgment.
Go ahead.
As a final word of God, the Quran was believed by Muslims to be infallible.
Muslims believe the Quran is infallible. They believe that the Quran's never been changed, never been tampered with. They believe it's infallible. Go ahead.
During the 2 decades that the Prophet received the revelations, his faithful hearers either memorized them or wrote them down. The recitation of these revelations then formed a part of Islamic worship. Some of the most devout Muslims memorized the entire Quran, as many of them still do today. A fantastic feat of piety when it is considered that this holy book, almost as long as the New Testament, contains approximately 78,000 words. Shortly after the Prophet's death, Muhammad's former companions took steps to preserve his
Revelations.
revelations in
Now, they said men used to write down the Quran and used to memorize his words. So these scholars that memorized these words, a lot of them started dying. So then they had to get the Quran written down because why? Not many people that was around could remember it. So they started losing whatever was written in the Quran. So that's what's going on. So now the men that remember these revelations started writing them down. Go ahead.
in permanent form. Even then, Islam's growing holy wars were beginning to reduce the numbers of those who knew the Quran by heart. Fearing that large portions of the Quran would thus be forever lost, Abu Bakr, Muhammad's immediate successor as the leader of Islam, ordered that the existing fragments be collected from wherever they could be found.
So now they started losing the Quran. So what happened? They started to gather all the fragments from wherever they could be found, all them scriptures that they had. They started to gather all the records of what they could find. Go ahead.
From the ribs of palm leaves and tablets of white stone, and from the breasts of men.
And men had the Quran written on their chest, man. Just gathering the writings off of men's chests. Go ahead.
Thus, from various sources, the revelations were gathered and a single text was prepared.
So now they gathered all these texts, and now this is how they compiled the Quran. They gathered all these texts, and a single text was put together. Go ahead.
Another one cancer. But there were all collection.
So like you read that again, you're going choppy. Give me that part again. Salakia Hakim, you might have to read it. I believe Banyamin's froze again.
Hold on, Khan, Salakia.
Give me from. But they were also in
Salakia,
existence.
sir.
Oh, you're back here. No, sir. Go ahead, Banyamin.
Another one cancer. Salakia, I'm not sure if it's a connection here.
Carry on,
Okay.
Benjamin, from where you left off.
From the
Another one
yeah,
cancer.
their part, but they were also. Give me from.
Okay, Salakia, sir.
Give me from the part where it says, but they were also in existence.
Another one cancer. But there were also in existence different collections gathered by other companions of the Prophet. Inevitably, this led to confusion.
Oh, so what you telling me? There wasn't just one Quran? What are these Muslims talking about, man? Here it's letting you know there's more than one Quran because other companions of the prophets had a different version of the Quran. So they gathered so much different records of the Quran. Some of his companions were saying one thing, his other companions were saying other things. Now, how do you know what's right? It sounds like the Quran's been changed to me. I thought there was only one Quran that was infallible. Not according to history, it's not. So, okay, go ahead.
That's right.
Canada one concern. At that time, Arabic was written in a rudimentary form with no vowels or signs to distinguish certain consonants. And this led to disputes about the reading of some words.
Well, they couldn't even break down some words because they didn't know what the words meant. Because the vowel points and whatnot, like meaning words were used for different things. They didn't understand the context. Go ahead.
The prophet's revelations might have suffered the fate of other holy scriptures and become the cause of lasting and bitter controversy, but for the resolute action of
Well, not even
Muhammad.
even they said it might have suffered the fate of other scriptures, meaning the Quran's been changed. Man. That's what they're saying. They're saying the Quran ain't as great as you think it is. Go ahead.
That's right. But for the resolute action of Uthman, Muhammad's third successor, Uthman had been one of his earliest converts.
Slaki Haki, get me this one.
And married Kadawan Khan and married no less than 2 of his daughters.
So now,
Most.
why does that? Why does this right here go against the Bible?
The Bible says in Leviticus in that thou shalt not marry. You mean your daughters, man?
Exactly.
Or go into this. God damn.
Now he didn't marry his own daughters. He married two of Muhammad's daughters, meaning he married 2 sisters.
Oh, that's against the law. Our law, you can't do that in the law.
Exactly. So much for the Quran being the same as the Bible. Why don't they follow laws like that? He married 2 of Muhammad's daughters, man. You're not supposed to marry 2 sisters, man. It's against the laws. Go ahead.
Kadawan Khan. Most 2 decades after Muhammad's death. Is it Utah? Is it?
No,
what's it?
Uthman.
Uthman, Salaki, that thing there's in the way. Formed a committee headed by one of Muhammad's former scribes, and their efforts led to a standardized copy of the Holy Book.
Go ahead.
Ottoman then sponsored this as the official version of the Quran.
Go ahead.
One that is read today. All the other copies were destroyed.
Hold on, how can you tell me there was more copies of the Quran?
Coming like it there, boy.
That's
what it sounds like.
They say the Quran's never been changed. How come here there's loads of other copies of the Quran and Uthman got them destroyed and kept 1 copy? Sounds like we might not have the original Quran to me.
Yeah.
How do we know he didn't destroy the good Quran?
How
do we know? Here it says all other copies were destroyed, which lets you know, don't let them lie to you that the Quran hasn't been changed. Don't let them lie to you that the Quran is infallible. Because in early days, in early Islam, there was many Qurans and they destroyed all of them and kept 1. They destroyed all the others and kept 1, which lets you know there was many versions of the Quran.
Of the Holy Book.
So now how do you know the one that you've got is the true one? The one that you have today might not be the true one because there was many versions of the Quran. Listen, man, you must around this. Why? Well, listen, if there's only one Quran, why did Uthman have to destroy the others? Why?
Yeah, unofficially sponsored this official one as the Holy Book.
Exactly. Which means there was other Qurans in circulation. Listen, man, you Muslims can't get around this.
No way.
This is the information that they hide from us. This is the information that they hide because they sing on the Quran's never been changed, bro. The Quran's never been changed, bro.
It's a lie, fam.
There you go. Until you show them this, until you go into the records and you start saying, well, why did Uthman get rid of all the Ottoman?
Yeah. Who's Ottoman? Yeah, bro. That's exactly.
Scholars. So now, why did Uthman get rid of all the other versions? Why was there so much versions in circulation? Exactly. They tell you the Bible's been changed, but then they don't want to tell you that the Quran's been changed. Okay, you want to tell me the Bible's been changed? You prove
and you know,
that.
if I may, sir, And black people, yeah, believe it, you know.
And you
Black
know why?
people, black people believe that shit.
And that's because they've never done the research. Why is black people are blind believers of everything, man? The blind believers of everything. They believe in Islam, and guess what? They've never done the research. Because if they did do the research, they would see
They
the
definitely.
They would see the Quran's been changed, man. And they would
And
see that
brother,
there's many versions of the Quran, and they would see that Uthman destroyed all the versions of the Quran and kept one. So how do I know the other 10 he didn't destroy wasn't the right one?
exactly.
Exactly. It shows Islam ain't the truth, man. The Quran's been changed. The Muslim can't tell me otherwise.
Too many times.
Scholars. This is scholars that study history daily, telling you that there's many versions of the Quran, and Uthman destroyed them. This is history telling you this. Salaki, go ahead.
Quran Khan, only part of the traditional account is accepted by modern scholars.
See, only part of the traditional account. So these Muslims try and lie and say this ain't true. Because they lie. And of course it's true, man. Everybody knows there's many versions of the Quran. But modern Muslim scholars will tell you, no, there's only one Quran. They're lying to you, man. There's many Qurans. They destroyed all of them and kept just the one. So go ahead.
Quran Khan, they believe that Muhammad himself had a large Salakia. They believe that Muhammad himself had large parts of his revelations written down by his scribes, and that this text, along with other versions then in circulation, was examined by the committee Uthman appointed and incorporated into the holy book. Come to read that again, other one. Shall I read that again?
And incorporated into the Salaki, who's that at the bottom upright?
I don't even know who that is.
No, Salakia, sir. It's I'm trying to log in to stop the latency on the Wi-Fi.
But no, sir, you want to leave upright in the stream? I'll take it that out.
Take it out, sir. Thank you.
Take it out. Yeah, all right, no, sir. Yes, Salaki, go ahead, Hakim.
Quran Khan, since no one was completely sure of the order in which the Prophet had received his revelations, the Quran's chapters or surahs were arranged according to length. The longest ones, which were placed first.
So now you don't even know if you're reading the Quran in the correct chronological order. Now Muhammad could have started something. He could have been mad one day and put that at the end, but then put it at the start of the Quran. So now you don't even know if you're reading it in order, because now they didn't know which order the Quran went in. So now they arranged it according to length, the longest ones which were placed first, whereas the longest one could have been last originally, but they placed it first. So it's not even in order. So Lakia Benjamin, get me this one.
Another one, sir. The Quran also painted the exquisite delight that awaited those who had believed in God and treated their fellow men kindly.
So now this is the heaven. Go ahead.
Can you hear me properly, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you too well.
Heaven was described as a garden of bliss where the faithful reclined on thrones crusted with jewels, while around them circulated youths forever young.
So what, that don't sound gay?
That
don't sound gay to you? You got youths around you forever young. That don't sound gay to you? Why are you going to want to recline on a chair in heaven and all is around you youths forever young? That don't sound a bit LGBT to you. They had youths around them forever young, man. Why would you want youths around you forever young? Go ahead.
It doesn't say men.
Say that again, Hakim.
I was gonna say it doesn't say men though, does it? Or boys, does it?
But it says youths forever young. Why would you want to be in heaven with youths around you forever young, man?
Yeah, it's now, some pedo thing.
Now we're gonna read on, and it says women. Salaki, go ahead.
Salaki, so I was gonna say it sounds like the Greek the angels, the Greek baby angels that they have.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, man. You see how them Greeks used to love them little babies around them. These Arabs, love the same thing, man. Go ahead.
That's right. With goblets of pure drink, the choicest of foods, and Horace, young women
And
like
now
guarded
they're in
pearls.
heaven with young women around them, man. So that's their idea of heaven. Their idea of heaven is carnal. It's young. It's youths around them and young women. And when they say young women, they're not talking about 20s and 30s. They're on about young women, man. And this is why they have that whole hope of 70 virgins when they die. This is their idea of heaven. So now, if that's heaven for the men, what's the women's reward, man? Like, what's the women's reward, man? Ain't don't the women get to enjoy heaven too? Like, what do women get, man? So, Lucky, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Benjamin, you can continue to read it.
Canada
I
one
think I
can,
might
sir.
get
Still okay, sir. Like guarded pearls, a reward for good action. It's a it is a small wonder that the prospect of entering the groves of such paradise, so verdant compared with the barren deserts of Arabia, inspired many Muslim warriors with a contempt for death and helped bring them to great victories.
So now, because these Muslims had this idea of heaven, of young women and young people around them, and so forth, they didn't mind dying because they was taught, yo, if you die, you're gonna go to paradise where there's all these women there, these young women. And that was their idea. So lucky, happy and get me this one.
Quran Khan. Once a day, a Muslim had to perform. What's that say?
I believe cereblutions. Well, I can't see because the words that might be cereblutions.
Cereblutions. What is that, by the way? Can I? Oh, you just changed it. You just changed the other one.
Hold on. I can't tell what that word is because the thing's in the way. It might. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Still okay, might be certain.
So, like I said again.
Might be certain.
I can't work out what it is because the sign's there. I'm trying to take it off. Just skip that word for now. I don't know what.
Okay. Or his acts of worship were not valid. Oh, these absolutions. Oh, is it that's absolution? Ablution. Sorry, ablutions. Yeah, that's ablution, sir. Perform.
Yeah, I can't see what the first word is.
Ceremony.
It might be ceremony.
Yeah, ceremony. Yeah.
Or ceremony.
Ceremony ablutions.
So basically, they had to do service in order to pray and so forth. If you didn't do these things, your prayers wasn't answered. So go ahead.
These ablutions were intended to purify man's body in the same way that prayers purified his soul, making him both spiritually and physically clean before God. Usually, the ritual was performed before morning prayers. The worshipper had to wash his face, hands, and arms up to the elbows, his feet up to the ankles, and the hair of his head. Normally, water was used for such cleaning, but if none were available, sand or even dust was acceptable.
So now you have to clean yourself with water. You've seen that thing right before the pray, in front of the word. So they have to do that to make themselves clean. Now, if that's not there, they can use dust or sand. Exactly makes no sense.
That's clean. That's going to get you clean, though.
Now the people that's what they do back then. They would clean themselves with dust. But to me, I personally ain't using that. I think that's still dirty. But you know, back then apparently dust can actually clean you. So they say dust and sand is actually cleaner than using nothing. So that's why they would use sand or dust. But now they would wash themselves, and if they didn't wash themselves, their prayers wasn't accepted. Listen, man, our God ain't carnal, man. Imagine if you can't wash yourself, but you want to pray to God. You pray. So you mean to say your prayer's not accepted because you haven't washed yourself? Imagine you're a righteous man, but you ain't able to do the washing stuff. Your prayer's not accepted. Man. The reason our prayers don't get accepted is because we're sinners, man.
That's right.
That's more logical. You don't accept a man's prayers because he's a sinner. They don't accept your prayers because you ain't washed with water. It makes no sense, man. That's lucky. Go ahead.
Quran Khan, before beginning his prayers, a worshipper removed his shoes and covered his head.
So now, this is one of the pillars of Islam. Why does this go against the Bible?
Benjamin, you know this one?
Because we don't pray with our head covered, sir.
Exactly. So now, they put on that Muslim hat, man, and they cover their head. And what do? We uncover our head. So what they do and what we do ain't the same, man.
Right.
Uncover our head, and they cover their head. So whatever they do and what we do is not the same thing. Because they disrespect Christ, man. They cover their head, and we uncover our head. So what we do and what they do is not the same. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. He then went through a series of specified movements known as a rakah, accompanied by prescribed prayers that was said silently or in a low voice. At each hour of prayer, a different number of rakahs was called for, but some Muslims preferred extra ones to win God's favor.
And that's carnal as hell, man. Before they could do an extra one to win God's favor. Prayer don't work like that, man. Listen, our God says what? Don't do vain repetition, man.
That's right.
Just pray to the Lord and He hears you, man. You ain't gotta keep doing vain repetitions, repeating the same words, man. In here, they do vain repetitions.
Everything's opposite.
Exactly. Everything that they do in their pillars of Islam is the opposite to what we do, man.
That's right.
Hold on, let me see if I need this one. Bear with me. Yeah. Give me the bottom part where it says the fourth pillar of Islam. So the third pillar of Islam is a thing called zakat. So zakat is a thing where basically it's like the copy does. See how we have tithes?
Yeah.
They have a thing called zakat.
Sir.
So they donate money. Also, theirs called zakat, whereas ours is called tithes. So the copy is with that. So lucky, give me the bottom part where it says the fourth pillar of Islam.
Quran Khan, sir. The fourth pillar of Islam was fasting. O ye who believe, fasting is prescribed to you. The Quran states, as it was prescribed to those before you, that ye may ward off evil.
So now they copied fasting from us. Now where did they copy fasting from us from? What feast day?
Was it the
yes, sir, that's the Day of Atonement.
So now with the Day of Atonement, they copied us. So what did Muhammad do? He copied the Day of Atonement, and in the beginning they would do one Day of Atonement, and then over time they changed it to Ramadan. They changed it to fasting for 30 days because they wanted to show how great they are. So they increased it. We're going to fast for 30 days. So that's one of their pillars, which they also copied from us. So lucky, get me.
So lucky, sir, for me. Even if you look at their fasting for 30 days, they would have read that Christ fasted for 30 days, sir. Oh, sorry, exactly. For 40 days. 40 days. So lucky.
So yeah, they copied that also. So they copied that from when Christ was in the desert fasting all that time. And that's where they get all that from. So they copied our Day of Atonement, they copied the fasting, they copied the praying towards Jerusalem before they changed it to pray towards the Qibla. All of those things, they all copied from us. So you'll find out that Islam is just a watered down version and a fake version of the Bible. So you'll see that they stole everything that we had. They stole our feast days, they stole our customs, and they made the whole religion off of it. And the whole religion that they made off of it was called Islam. So they definitely copied us. Salakia, go ahead.
The fifth and final pillar of Islam was the important pilgrimage to Mecca. A traditional Arab custom adopted by Islam.
So now, this is the fifth and find the pillar of Islam was an important pilgrimage to Mecca, a traditional Arab custom adopted by Islam. What does that mean?
Sir, that it was a pagan custom by the Arabs, and the Muhammad and Islam and
Yes.
still use it.
Yes, that's exactly what it means. Yes, that's exactly what it means. It means the pilgrimage to Mecca has nothing to do with the Bible. It means it was an Arab custom. So now, if the Bible is a book for Israelites and Muhammad's meant to have built the Kaaba, why was this an Arab custom that Muhammad adopted in Islam? And this was a pagan Arab custom, and Muhammad kept this pagan Arab custom and adopted it into Islam. And that's why they go to Mecca, because that was an Arab custom. So now, when a Muslim tells you about Mecca and pilgrimage, ask him this. What would you ask? What would you ask a Muslim? What would you say to a Muslim when he mentions you must go to Mecca and pilgrimage? What would your answer be?
Salakia, sir, I would tell him that this was people were going to Mecca way before Muhammad, and it was a pagan custom.
Yes, that's what you want to tell them. You want to tell them, well, did the Arabs have a custom of pilgrimage before Muhammad? Yes or no? He's going to say yes. And then you say, show me the history of the Bible when any Israelite done this pagan custom, and ask, why did Muhammad adopt this pagan Arab custom into Islam? Ask them, was it a righteous custom before Islam or a pagan custom? And they're going to say it's a pagan custom. So then you ask, so why did Muhammad adopt a pagan custom? And they're going to give you an answer that makes no sense. You then ask, well, why did Muhammad adopt a pagan custom? That's lucky. Go ahead, was you saying something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say you just put the blade on him right there.
There you go.
Just opened him up. No way you can go with that.
That's it. You've got him in a box, man. Was it a pagan custom before Islam? Yes or no? They're going to say yes. So why is it not a pagan custom after Islam? If it's the same thing, they can't answer it, man.
There's nowhere to go with that.
There's nowhere to go. Or they're going to say, oh, ask them, was it a pagan? If they say it wasn't a pagan custom before Islam, you just ask them, well, did people do this before Islam? Yes. What was the religion of the people that done this before Islam? What was their religion called? And they're going to give the name of the religion, and you say, okay then, so you copied from that religion then. Listen, there's too much boxes you can put them in.
Yeah, there's too much. Yeah, too much.
There's too much boxes. Listen, on the day you can decide, yeah, I want to put him in this box or this box.
Yeah.
Either way, it's in a box. You just say to him, well, all right, the people pre-Islam, they had a custom of pilgrimage. Was they pagans, yes or no? He's going to say that they was pagans. I'm going to say, okay. Now, once Muhammad came on the scene, he adopted that custom. Does that make him a pagan? They're going to say no. Which makes no sense.
How does that work?
Which makes no sense. They was pagans because they was doing that custom. But now Muhammad does that custom and he's not a pagan. It makes no sense, man.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
They can't get around it. All right, then let me ask you a question. If Jonathan adopted this custom of running around the rock, does that make him a pagan?
Yeah.
Yes. But when it's Muhammad, that will make him a pagan. So what's the difference between Jonathan and Muhammad? They're both pagans.
Exactly.
There's too much boxes. Right. You can't get around this. Mecca was a pagan custom that the Arabs had before Muhammad. Way before Muhammad. Listen, like I've been saying, so I can say that again.
Pilgrimage. What's like your?
Go ahead.
What's a pilgrimage, sir?
Pilgrimage is like something that you do as part of a religious practice. So pilgrimage is like something that you have to travel to and do.
Right. Okay.
So like,
right. Okay.
Part of their religious customs.
Awesome.
So yeah, they have to. Pilgrimage is traveling. I think a pilgrim is someone that moves around the earth.
That's what the Christians do, though. That's what they do, isn't it? Pilgrimage.
Yes, but they don't worship it like these Arabs do. Like with theirs, they don't have to kiss the stone or nothing.
Okay.
They just go there because it's something holy to them. Like say for instance, if you're a fan of Manchester United, you go see the stadium, but you don't worship it. Whereas these Muslims do actually worship this place. So this is what they do. They make pilgrimage to Mecca. So okay, go ahead, Benjamin.
So look at
Khan.
Go ahead, Benjamin.
pilgrimage before when he was a pagan, and he still kept it.
So okay, say that again, Benjamin. You cut out, and only had half.
So like sir, I was saying, Muhammad would have done these pilgrimage himself as a pagan before he went into Islam and kept that same pagan tradition, sir.
Possibly, and that's why he knows it so well. That would have been a regular for him, man, to go there. That would have been a regular. He probably knows it so well and liked it, and that's why he kept it. He kept what he liked and got rid of what he didn't like. Yes, Lucky, go ahead.
God, sir, that one was dearest to him, sir.
Exactly. So much that it makes all of them do it now.
God, sir. Once in a lifetime, every Muslim capable of undertaking it was obliged to go on this holy journey to the city where the Prophet had his first revelations. It was meritorious to visit Mecca and the Kaaba at any season, but the obligatory pilgrimage known as the Hajj took place just once a year in the month of Dhul Hijjah, 2 months after Ramadan.
So Lucky, Haki, and get me this one.
Upon entering Mecca, the pilgrim went something to the Kaaba, where he kissed the black stone.
So now they went down to pilgrimage and they kissed the black stone. That's idolatry, man. The Bible says you should bow down to your stone. The Bible says
bow down
in your land. The Bible says don't set up stone in your land to bow down and to kiss it. And this is what they did. They bow down to that stone and they kiss it. So this part of their pilgrimage, the greatest part of their pillars, goes against the Bible. Because Moses said, "Don't set up no image of stone in your land to bow down and worship it."
Okay.
That's exactly what they do, man. So they go against Moses. These Muslims go against Moses, man. Whatever they say, everything they're saying is lies. So go ahead.
Kadawan Khan then walked around the holy shrine 7 times, reciting different prayers in glorification of God.
And that's paganism. They walked around 7 times, man. Go ahead.
Next, he ran 7 times between 2 small hills nearby, a custom that had survived since the pilgrimage of pre-Islamic days.
Hold on, wait, read that part one more time, Hakayan.
Kadawan Khan. Next, he ran 7 times between 2 small hills nearby, a custom that had survived since the pilgrimage of pre-Islamic days.
So Hakayan, what does that mean?
It's just mad, isn't it? When you look at it, it just means like all this pilgrimage thing that came before Islam, they've taken it as a custom from somewhere else.
Exactly, and this was a pagan Arab custom, and they was doing this in pre-Islamic days. So imagine they was doing this before Islam, and Muhammad adopted this into his religion, which lets you know Islam is just idolatry, man.
Yeah,
Islam is just pagan worship and idolatry. You know what it is? Most of these Muslims haven't ran upon the wrong person, man. Listen, man. Like I'm always saying, I need a Muslim to come before the camp or come on the show, man. I've been dying to bring out this information, man. I've been dying to see a Muslim's face when I bring out the pre-Islamic days.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring out the pre-Islamic day. Listen,
Salakia, you know what you need, yeah, if I may. You know when black people do something, they do it, they try to go in and get all the knowledge. You want a brother to do it, a black brother. You know what I mean? Who think he knows something.
Well, a black Muslim.
One of our brothers.
Listen, I'm gonna baptize him on the spot.
Baptize him.
I'm gonna baptize him on the spot.
Baptize him in fire, make him know.
I'm gonna let him know, look, man, this is pre-Islamic days. I'm gonna say the Arabs done this custom. Say the Arabs used to run between two pillars. Don't tell me about us go to Hajj. The Arabs was doing this before Islam, man.
Right.
And then I'll pull out the history books and I'll let him read it, man. I'll say, read this for me, young man. I'll say, young man, read this for me. I ain't calling him no Bilal. I ain't calling him his Islamic name. I ain't calling him that. I'm saying, read this for me. I'm gonna have him read it, man, and say, so are you still gonna go to Mecca? And then when he says, because he's gonna say, listen, I'm gonna say to him, are you a pagan? Yes or no? He's gonna say no. I'm gonna say, so are you gonna go to Mecca? He's gonna say yes. I'm gonna say, so wouldn't that make you a pagan? And he can't get around it, man.
Nothing you can do.
I'm gonna say, all right then. So I'm gonna say, either you have to accept you're a pagan, and then you're a Muslim, or if you don't accept you're a pagan, then you can't be a Muslim. There's no way around it, man.
That's
If you
true.
don't accept you're a pagan, that means you're not a Muslim. In order to be a Muslim, you have to be a pagan, because they do pagan stuff right here.
Salaki, sir,
Great Islamic. Salaki, go ahead.
I don't think they thought this out. I don't think they really thought about this before they wrote it, you know. None of it makes sense, other one.
You see what it is? Most people don't go into the history. So that's what it is. So you'll see a Muslim who's never come across someone that studies properly. Until they do, then they're going to realize, yo, I didn't know that about my religion. So you're going to tell them stuff about their religion. It's going to rock their faith, man.
Who can I get?
Well, damn, how much thinking about a Muslim to get?
Actually, I think I've got one, you know.
Yeah, man, tell him, come on.
Yeah.
Tell him I want to present some information to him.
Yeah. I got his number too, actually. I'll talk to you after the class about it.
Man, tell him I got some information to present to him, man. Yeah. Tell him, don't worry. Tell him he can tell me the Bible's been changed. Tell him he can tell me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm asking him, is he going to run from pillar to pillar?
He actually does know about us, though.
He does.
He does know about us.
Oh yeah, he might be too scared to come on then.
He might be too scared.
Yeah, he might be too scared. Come on, tell him we're gonna have a dialogue.
Yeah.
So Lucky, go ahead.
Hold on, Khan. Yeah. The single most important ceremony of the pilgrimage was held in Afra, in a valley some 9 miles from Mecca on the 9th day of what's that? Dhul al-Hajj. Dhul Hijj. After traveling from Mecca by camel, on horseback, or on foot, the pilgrims gathered there in the afternoon on and around a small hill. In an impressive ceremony, tens of thousands of pilgrims stood erect before God, praying and listening to a sermon preached by some.
Listen, they said they stood erect before God. That sounds pause. That sounds LGBT. Even though I'm just being funny. It just means standing upright. So like, all it means is standing upright. I'm just trying to mock them because the words to use. So like, go ahead.
This was the greatest moment in the life of a Muslim, moving him deeply and inspiring him with powerful sense of his faith. After sunset, the pilgrims turned back towards Mecca, spending the night at Muzdalifa, a village not far from Afra. The following day, they proceeded into Mina, halfway between Medina and Afra, where they threw pebbles at stone pillars that were supposed to symbolize the devil and temptation.
So you see how silly that is? They threw stones at pillars, and these pillars was meant to symbolize the devil.
Mm-hmm.
See how dumb that is?
Yeah.
They threw stones at pillars.
They should be.
They threw stones, and sometimes they'll hit people with these stones, and these people died, man. The three stones at pillars, and this was meant to symbolize the devil. That's how pagan Islam is. Hold on, let me see this slide.
The devil.
Yeah, go ahead, get this one. I was like, go ahead, okay. Look.
I was
It
just
says,
gonna say they need to get some. They should have had some stone carvings of Ronald Reagan or one of them old people back then of Edomites that was ruling back then. If they knew what the devil was, they would have threw stones at them.
that's it. Instead,
Their idea of the devil was what?
a pillar, throwing stones at the pillar because they believe the devil was in the. You know how crazy that is. So imagine that is mental health right there. Imagine you throwing a stone at the wall. Imagine that. Imagine I see you throwing a stone at the wall and you telling me the devil's in the wall.
That's
That
what
is
I'm saying.
that is mental health.
Mental health. Straight.
Yeah. And that's what they do. They throw stones at it, and they all don't believe that. That sounds crazy, man. Salakia, get me this one. I believe Banyamin's internet's messed up again.
Oh, Benjamin. Oh, he's gone. Salakia. As the goal of every believer was to emulate the Prophet in his daily life, complex problems often arose with the growth of Islam. And when solutions was found in the Quran, it became customary to find a guiding principle in the traditions.
So now, basically, the Quran didn't have all the answers. Basically, so
Right.
they go outside of the Quran for answers. Go ahead.
Right. So yeah, that's deep there, boy. As individual Muslims sought authority to support their actions and decide their quarrels, the manufacture of counterfeit traditions became almost an industry. One imaginative rogue, who was later executed, confessed to having invented no less than 4,000 traditions.
So listen, half the Muslim traditions that you think are Muslim traditions, the fakes. Half of them hadiths are fakes. People that saw opportunity, lied, and was like, "Yo, I was friends with Muhammad, and Muhammad said this, Muhammad said that, Muhammad said this." Most of the hadiths are forgeries, man. They're not even real. It's people that saw power and made up traditions, and this man made up 4,000 traditions that Muslims was following. Go ahead.
Quran Khan, by the beginning of the 3rd century after the Prophet's death, some 600,000 traditions were said to have been in circulation.
Well, now half of these traditions was false. Half of these things didn't come from Muhammad. So there's 600,000 traditions in circulation. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. At this point, a group of scholars collected and recorded those that they regarded as reliable.
So now, a scholars guarded some as reliable. So the ones that they thought was reliable, it's not facts that was reliable. It's ones that scholars thought, all right, sounds like Muhammad would say that. Half of the hadiths you read in half of the traditions are made up. Because fake men, men that didn't really follow Muhammad did what? Made up their own traditions, man. Go ahead. So half of this put your left foot through the door first, know that nonsense. Probably some nonsense someone made up. So like, go ahead.
Quran Khan. Their criterion was the reputation of the people through whom the incident or quotations could be traced back to a companion of the Prophet. Each link in the chain might begin by "I heard it from," "who I heard it from,"
Listen,
"who
man,
heard
a lot of the Quran and the traditions is hearsay. That's what it says. A lot of it might be like, I heard it from, who heard it from, who heard it from. Which is letting you know it's Chinese whispers. A lot of it is Chinese whispers. They didn't hear it from no one that made it up. So a lot of the traditions that these Muslims follow, they're not even authentic traditions. They're not even authentic traditions, they're just made up. From a man who heard it from, who heard it from, who heard it from, like it's saying right here. Go ahead.
Who Khan, of course, was not even this method. Salakia, heard it from. Of course, not even this method was foolproof. Look, I put foolproof though. FOOL proof, relying as it did on the memories of men.
Get me this one. I think this might be the last one. I'm out of here. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. On the other hand, Muslims could eat fish, game caught dogs trained for that purpose, and the meat of approved animals, such as sheep, goat, or camels.
So listen, that's how you know the Quran don't. The Quran and the Bible is two different books. Because in the Quran they can eat camels. In the Bible we can't eat camels.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Yep. This is even worse. This next bit. In an emergency to sustain life, anything edible was lawful to eat.
see, it says in an emergency to sustain life, anything edible was lawful to eat. Listen, man, this goes against the Bible, man. That woman and her sons, to sustain their life, they didn't eat the pork, man. They would rather
That's
die.
right. That's
They
right.
didn't die. Whereas in Islam, you can just be a coward and eat whatever they put in front of you to sustain life. That means if a man tries to rape you in jail to sustain life, they would let him do it, man. To sustain life. In here, you would have to kill us before any of that nonsense happens, man.
I'm right.
Yeah, we
That's
eat to sustain life. We'd rather die, man. In the Quran, to sustain life, you can eat anything which is lawful to eat. That didn't happen in the Bible.
That's right.
That sister didn't eat pork to sustain life. That would mean she died in vain, man. She could have just ate the pork. She could have just ate the pork that the Greeks gave her, man. And she didn't eat that pork to sustain life. She would rather die than eat pork. Whereas in the Quran, you can eat pork to sustain life, which lets you know the Quran and the Bible is not the same, man. The 5 pillars of Islam contradicts the Bible. So, Lucky, go ahead.
That's right. On the question of alcohol, Islam was the severest of the 3 religions. An early revelation in the Quran forbade the practice of going to prayer while in a state of intoxication.
In the beginning, the Arabs could drink, but they was turning up to prayer drunk. So because Muhammad didn't like that they was going to prayer drunk, Muhammad fell into a trance and had a dream that alcohol is forbidden. So that's why alcohol is forbidden in Islam, because Muhammad didn't like it, and whatever he didn't like, it became law. So Lucky, go ahead.
Quran Khan. A later verse ruled out the drinking of Kamar,
Come on.
an intoxicating Arabian drink, and by extension proscribed all alcohol.
So now, after he changed it to that all alcohol you can't drink, so how come Christ is going to drink it new with us in the kingdom, man? How come Christ is going to drink with us in the kingdom, but Muhammad here is banning all drinks? That's a lie, man. Jesus Christ said the nigga can drink, man.
That's right.
That's
The book
right.
of Proverbs says, yo, you have a drink for those who's ready to perish, man.
That's right.
That's what
Have a
Jesus
strong
Christ
That's
said.
right.
Jesus Christ said, man, put some wine in that cup, man. Put some wine in that cup, man. And you look at that glass of wine and you say, boy, it's been a hard day, man. Put 2 ice cubes in there, man. Listen, the ice cubes have to knock on the side of the glass. If you pour it right, man, you know when you drink it, you hear the ice cubes, man. Muhammad said you can't drink. Listen, this goes against the Bible, man. And guess what? Every Muslim man will drinks.
That's right.
I heard Krypton Colin talking about Ciroc with the ice. And they're Muslim, man. I heard them talk about Ciroc with the ice, man, and they're meant to be Muslim. Did you know that when Muslims go to Morocco, they have sex with everything moving? Did you know they have sex with everything moving? Yeah.
Outright.
Yeah, that's how.
I go home. Well, yo, come to say, yo, you been, where you been? Oh, I took away to Morocco, man. Because, you know, some big girls that they told me straight.
Yeah, see.
Told me serious.
Listen, it's so bad in Morocco to go to a place called Agadir that they call it Shagadir, man. Because they go there and they get the massages and they be having sex with everybody in Morocco. Whenever a Muslim man, especially an older Arab man, Muslim man tells you he's going to Morocco, that's why he's going to Morocco. Because those women are cheap there and his wife will never find out. And that's why they always go to Morocco, because they be having sex there, man. In the massage parlors, you think we don't know. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Quran Khan, on the question of alcohol, Salakia. However, this prohibition was widely violated, mostly by the aristocracy.
The Arabs, hold on, let me see this slide, hold on. Yeah, them Arabs. Hold on. Bear with me. Yeah, so now them Arabs, what them Arabs did, they was drinking still, man. Banyaman, get me this last slide and then we out of here.
Canada one count, sir.
People thought I was making it up. Now we got it in history. Go ahead.
The Arabic word for mosque means place of prostration,
There you go, man. This is writing, man. The Arabic word for mosque means place of prostration. Go ahead.
and the heart of the mosque was the sanctuary, where Muslims unrolled their prayer rugs and prostrated themselves before God.
There you go, man. This is writing, man. The mosque is the place where Muslims unrolled their prayer rugs and went face down, ass up on the prayer rugs, man. That's another word for prostrating, man. They went face down, ass up on the prayer rugs before their God, man. this is what it says right there. Look, it says the Arabic word for mosque means place of prostration. So when you go to the mosque, I don't know if you've seen, there's rows of them. These in the front are all bent over. These is here bent over. There's a row of men all bent over in front of other men. And it's called the, and it means the place of prostration. They're all face down, ass up. And with that, that brings us to the end of the class. Clap it up. All right, Hakian, you can do the salute and then we out of here because we opened the time. So just do the salute.
Kadon Khan. Men of Israel, Madim. Madim Shabbat. Amadim. Barak.
Yahweh
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Kafam.
Yajimata, class dismissed.
Trooper Bandit. So I can say that again, Hakian.
So, for order for the class, appreciate it.
I appreciate you, brothers. All right, then. For what again, Hakian? For what again, Benjamin? Shalom Israel will be here tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow. Scripture breakdown class with Captain Mashak Mayam.
That's right.
Captain Mashak Mayam here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Ask all your questions. Shalom Israel.